So before we talk about some of this extra code down here, a couple of other things related to the code, let's actually run this and see it work. So I've already compiled, so I'm going to say run, and I see down here, make this a little bigger, enter a new username. I'm going to say Steve, and please enter a password, foo, hit enter, and then it prints out a couple things here, flushing, closing. I'll talk about those in a minute, and it says your account has been created and saved. And if all went well, we now have a file called accounts.txt. Let's refresh this. Okay, stored in the same directory as wherever this file is being stored. And in this case, it's a little hard to see here, but I've got it stored on my C drive in this big long path here to this particular folder, and there's accounts.txt, and I can even open it up right here in JGrasp, and you see that in that file it has the word Steve followed by a vertical bar or pipe followed by foo, and since we did a print line, it also did basically a return or a new line. Okay, so it's ready to start a second line, and that's stored in the file. Or you can even, if you want, just prove to you this is just a file stored on the computer. It's nothing special. It doesn't have anything special to do with JGrasp. Okay, I can open up that particular file. Okay, in my File Explorer. This is just Windows Normal File Explorer, and here's all my code that's running, including the program I'm running right now. And that file just got stored in the same exact folder. Okay, the same folder that my code is actually running in. Here's accounts.txt, and I can open that up. Let's just open with just Notepad. Okay, and there it is. It's just a simple file that has the word Steve, vertical bar, boom. Okay, so it did what we expected it to do. Let's go ahead and close that. And I'm going to close this too for now. Let's run it one more time because we're going to have, let's say we have multiple people who are going to be having accounts with our organization, whatever this is being used for, our bank or whatever it is. Okay, so let's run it again. So let's say run. Here we have our program running again. We'll say Bob and bar, enter, and it says, okay, your account has been created and saved. Okay, let's open up accounts.txt again. Okay, and it is Bob bar. But what's the problem? Well, unfortunately, when we ran the program, it overwrote what we had there before. So Steve and foo is now gone, and Bob and bar was recreated. So there's a solution to that. Okay, so sometimes you want to open up a file and just basically start it over again, but most of the time you want to append something to the file, the existing file, what's already there. So there's a solution to that. If I go back into my, I'll close this for now. If I go back into my program, if you look into the Java API, which we talked about before, and all that is the documentation for all of these different types of things, methods and things that come with Java, you'll see that for a file output stream, when you create this file output stream, you can do it with one argument like we have here, which is the name of the file. You can also, there's another option for creating this file output stream with a second argument. And you know by now what arguments are. They're the things we put inside the parentheses to basically as input to whatever we're trying to do. And we could put a second argument in here. And what the Java API would see if you looked it up is it says that now there's a second argument that's Boolean, which means true or false, and it says append. And what that means is, do you want to open this in and have it append to the file or not? So if you put true, that means the value append is true, which means I want to append to the file. If you put the value false, that means no, I do not want to append to the file, which is basically the same as what we were just doing. So bottom line is, if I put true here as a second argument to this functionality where we're creating this file output stream, I save that and compile. Now when I run my program, it's going to enter the new information into the file, but it's going to append it to the end of the file. So I'll go ahead and run this one more time. And we'll say Sue is the username and Baz is the password, and hit enter, and it says it's been saved. And now when I open accounts.txt, Bob bar is still there, but now Sue and Baz has been added on. So now we're keeping track of accounts, username passwords for everybody who runs this program. So in many, many cases, you're going to want to do that. You just go into the actual code where you're, whoops, wrong one. Go into the code where you're actually creating your file output stream and add that little second argument there, true. That means, yes, I want to append